evening. This meeting is an election of officers, so some interesting stuff, some nail-biting, electioneering that you haven't noticed, I'm sure, and also some reasons to be cheerful. You know, why are we so pleased that we've got HHDBA here? So what I'd love to do is I've got a fabulous button pusher over there, because modern technology, we haven't got remote control. So Rob, we'll give him a round of applause because he's got this nail-biting thing. He will dictate the pace that I talk at. That'll be a bit interesting. So if I could just move on to the agenda. We have a few things to go on with. So the first of all is the Constitution, highlights of the year 2013 to 14, because our new year starts on April Fool's Day. Don't know whether that's got anything to do with it or not. Events to come that perhaps were not planned in our lovely calendar. The committee structure, the working groups, election of officers and election of committee members. So that's our agenda. So before we move on, the Constitution, Steve Hillier took charge of this, and the Constitution was sent out for you because we modernised it, didn't we? Edited highlights, you've all seen it. It's all buried in your inboxes. Nobody's come back and said, I object.
Oh, you've caught me on the hop.
I love
wasn't
to
expecting
catch
to stand
you
up
on
as
the
well.
hop, yes.
It's a relatively simple document. I think we kept it down to 4 or 5 pages, but it should cover everything an association like ours should have. Lots of safeguards in it, so any major decisions can't be taken without 2/3 of the membership saying it's okay. It's a flexible tool. It enables officers to get on and do things, but there's safeguards in place. So over the years, I've worked with quite a lot of constitutions. It seems a very sensible one to me. Very grateful to Lindsay, who's a senior lawyer who's also helped with it. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I think it's a sensible, useful document for us to use.
So unless anybody's got any worries about this Constitution that is sitting in your mailbox, that nobody's said anything about, can we say formally that it is accepted?
Yes. Agree.
Okay. Have we got 2/3 of the membership here?
We are corporate.
Thank you. I love that word. Hi. So that's probably about the most serious thing over and done with. So we'll have another button click. And highlights of the 2013-14 year. The welcome meetings have been proved very popular. Those are the ones in pink on your calendars, and what's happened there is we had a lot of blanks at the end, but actually now all of those welcome meetings have been filled, and we've got people who are wanting to host them. So the concept of a welcome meeting, for those of you who are new to HHDBA, is it is your opportunity for you to showcase your business. If you don't have business premises, that's no problem. The year before last, for example, Carolyn Scholefield hosted it at the Fox and Hounds. So it's up to you as a business to decide where you want to host it if you don't have the premises. We've had successful ones at physiotherapy practices. Really looking forward to going to Board Hill, especially if we get a lovely summer's evening. That would be fabulous. So lots of opportunities, and of course we're going to St Peter's and St James as well, amongst others, and Muse, the vets as well. Don't know what that's going to be like, but that could be interesting if you like our furry friends. So that's great. The other new thing this year was the conference, and we have to really thank John Berry and his team. Stephen Hillier was on it. Lynn Shulip, another active member, is away sunning herself in Portugal. I think it's Portugal, isn't it? It is Portugal. And of course the lovely Pete Kogel was also on hand. So lots of hard work was put into that conference. We've had fabulous feedback. It was profitable, and we're considering it next year. So there's a meeting on the 6th of May. 19th, close, got the wrong month correct. So to actually make a decision as to whether we think it's viable, and if that decision is made, then it will come to the committee to endorse at the 3rd of June committee meeting. So we just want to review it, to see what we thought about it and go forward. The website is dynamic thanks to the ceaseless and untiring efforts of the indefatigable, I feel like in a music hall show here, efforts of Mr. Peter Kogel. So absolutely fabulous, and I know that our sister or brother business associations do look at our website with envy. So it is well appreciated. The variety of events that we run have been well attended. Regrettably, HHDBA still insists on having fun. Memorable events, and to save blushes, there are no photos of the Bollywood evening. But Kareem, who regrettably can't be with us as he's got a very sick uncle over in Canada, and he's seeing to that, has got his sights firmly set on Bollywood too. And the Christmas party, well, it's a bit of a haze to some of us, no names, no pack drill, but it was well attended, and a good time was had. Equally this year, a highlight for us, the bike ride has now formally left home. In a way, it's a classic incubator thing. The whole concept of the bike ride was thought about by HHDBA committee members, and it grew and prospered, and now it's part of the town team community interest company. So that has been a sort of way of saying, okay, it's come into its own, and HHDBA now has a new challenge to look to, as we don't have a designated charity yet. Carry on. Thank you. Achievements. There's always an accounting thing here, because some members renew into the next year, but as far as Sue is concerned, there are 154 members, and I wouldn't like to upset Sue in any way at all. So I think we're quite pleased that we broke over the 150. But of course, it's like any sales target. You achieve your 154, the new year comes in, and you've got to start all over again. So we're back down to 86, we think. I'm not saying anything, so that's fine. The accounts are actually formally presented at the AGM, so Brian will give an update at the AGM in November. Anything to alert anybody about? What's your view on the state of affairs?
It's quite strong at the moment. So with the number of members we've got and the tiered memberships rate, that means that more members coming in than it used to 3 or 4 years ago. It'll be quite strong.
Good. So I'll come back to that a little bit later. The varied choice of events for members, and I think when talking to people who are thinking about joining, it is the fact that people can dip in and out for the different types of meetings that seems to appeal, and different times of the day and different days. And stable admin base now. Sue has done a terrific job. And every year we get slicker at sending out those nasty reminders to pay. And also we've got our database, our CRM database. Rob, our first intern, is still working with us, and he's currently residing at Carolyn Scholefield. Seems to be fairly safely ensconced in there until the end of June, but we're delighted to have him, because in a way, Rob, the other first batch of interns, really helped set up the database for us that we've now got of membership. And that's going to be really handy for some of the other plans that we have this year. So, thank you. We haven't moved. We are moving now. So, the committee structure. There are 4 elected officers, and that's the chair, the vice chair, the treasurer and the secretary. And used to be 8 committee members, but I've gone up to 10. And we also have visiting people, such as the Cabinet Member for Economic Development, Mid Sussex District Council. We're grateful to Mid Sussex District Council who give us an annual grant. And we've had a changeover. We used to have the lovely Norman Webster, and we now have Gary Marsh. And also the town clerk from Hayti Town Council, Stephen Trice. So they sit on the committee, and it's a courtesy to keep them informed and updated. So going on from that, something's slow. Yeah. We have to say a fond farewell to Peter Sutton. Now, many of you in this room will not believe this, but he actually turned down the offer of a drink this evening on the basis that he was far too busy. But we have to thank him because he chaired the steering group when HHDBA was reconvened. This is the third iteration of HHDBA. That was back in 2009. And once we'd got the steering group up and running, Peter took on the role of vice chair. And many can testify to his persuasive skills. And, you know, people were rattled on, and will you join as a member? And so we have to thank him. We also say farewell to Rod Clark, who's leaving for a variety of reasons. He's phenomenally busy and he needs to take care of himself a little bit. So we say sorry to him, sorry to see him going, but thank him again. No new business in the Broadway was ever safe because they always got tapped up by Rod. So, and I think, you know, our recent newbies, Everest Spice, have been a testimony to Rod's persuasive skills as well. So farewell to those two. And standing down but still willing, the wonderful John Berry, amazing leader for the conference, responsible for 2013 calendar, and we breathe a huge sigh of relief that he will still play in the developed group but not lead it. So could I please, because we can embarrass him because he's here, give him a round of applause. That's a pleasure. Oh, we couldn't have done it without you. I mean, what with John's mind maps and the telephone conferences at God knows what time, Stephen, our lives have changed since the committee, the conference has gone.
And drink in peace on a Friday afternoon.
Exactly. And somebody else standing down but still willing. Our fantastic, indefatigable, did I call it? Oh, I've got you down as a tireless activist. This is a man that doesn't like sitting still for long. So if you want a job done well, and Pete is your man. But thankfully, Pete will still play in the Communicate group. So hugely pleased about that. Okay. And a round of applause, please. This is where it's horribly embarrassing, and I suppose somebody else could read it, but the nominations for elected officers are above. Strangely enough, none of these seats are contested. So I do need to say that I was nominated or proposed by Neil Tomlinson. Neil sends his apologies this evening. Unfortunately, those of you who know Neil well know that he had a very nasty stomach issue and he's in for a colostomy tomorrow, so he's got to be a good boy and stay at home tonight. And I was seconded by Rod Clark. So is there anybody who'd love this chair role? It always goes quiet. So could I have somebody raising hands? What's the drill? So,
There is no election, is there?
no, because nobody's contended.
One nomination.
One nomination. Gosh, I'll have to try better next year. And the lovely Dulcie Brookfield was proposed by me and seconded by Rod Clark. Is there anybody else who wants that role? Please, no please. Okay, so that's fabulous. Mr. Cook, who keeps us on the straight and narrow, and every now and again when we get a bit, creative in any of our accounting practices, brings us firmly to task. It's over-enthusiastic. Yes, when we get over-enthusiastic, we get a bucket of cold water thrown over us and we come spluttering back up to the air. So I am truly grateful for that. So I propose that he carry on, please, in that role. Not that I like cold buckets of water, I hasten to add. And Neil Tomlinson seconded Brian. So nobody's contesting that one either. He pauses. Right. And Kareem Mohammed has been proposed by Pete Kogel and seconded by Dulcie. Dulcie and I were planning this presentation on Saturday, and we were thinking who should be our secretary. And we both had the same thought at the same time. So Kareem, for those of you who know him, is a mediation solicitor, and so if you ever have a problem with another solicitor, Kareem's your man, and he's a mediator as well, and he has the most enthusiastic and energetic style and has been hugely supportive to this group. So I dropped him a text on Saturday saying, how about it? 8 o'clock on Sunday morning he texted me back saying, I'm on my way to the airport, I can chat. So unfortunately for me, because any of you who know me, I'm not an early bird, but 8:30 I was actually on the phone talking to Kareem, explaining what it was, and he thankfully said yes. So anybody else fancy that secretarial role? No. We thought Kareem would be good to keep us on the straight and narrow, again, for legal things and practical things, so that's great. That's it. So, carrying on, thank you all. Nominations for the committee. Well, thankfully, Stephen Hillier and Neil Tomlinson have decided to stay on for punishment and suffering. But you will notice that we've got 7 new names. So we have some fresh blood coming into the pool. All have been proposed and seconded. And I thought, well, 9 is an odd number, so how about 1 vacancy? So if there's anybody with a rush of blood to your head, please come and play. The whole thought about that, if you click on, is we have had a structure of working groups, and I've got 3 sheets of A3 paper with the words connect, communicate, grow and develop on there, because the concept of the connect, communicate, develop and grow working groups was really to split out the workload so that we weren't waiting for a committee meeting before we did anything, and that people would take the lead. But the actual boundaries are a little bit fuzzy at the moment, so the purpose of them is to enable a number of good people to do a little well. What we don't want to do is to have a small number of people doing a lot not well, or being so rabbit in the headlight that they don't actually do anything. And so we thought that this year we've got a real challenge to be clear about who's going to be doing what to whom and when. And look at those groups, and with the 7 new members, potentially 8 new members, we've got a lot of fun there. So we also thought, or I thought, that to kick that debate going, there's an A3 sheet of paper. Rob, you've got one.
And the second one.
There's another one. So each person has a different colour group. Yeah. So if we'll circulate those round, if we can do those now. If while we're talking, you fancy a little doodle on those sheets, please do think what you think those 4 working groups are. So if we go back to them again. So connect originally was about connecting with the community, connecting with other members, bringing in new members. Communicate was telling the world what we're doing and also having a bit of fun. Develop was the serious bit about educating our members, helping them grow successfully, and grow was literally growing. So to give you an idea, Rob, if you now go forwards to what we've actually done, carry on. So the welcome meetings have come under the Communicate banner. Carry on again. The Develop, we've got a huge amount of activity in there. The skills workshops, which happen early in the morning. So we had a fabulous one last week with Alex Kent, where we were talking about sales, how to beef up our selling skills. The whole idea of those skills workshops is that not many people are meant to attend. So 7, 8, 10 people is perfect, because you then get really good active attention by the facilitator. Sam, you were at one last week. What were your views on that?
Yeah, it was really good to hear about everybody's experiences and the challenges that they're facing with selling, and to brainstorm ideas for how to improve and get expert advice from others as well.
Yes, and I think Steve, you were there as well.
Yes, but I'm a man and I'm trying to multitask.
Oh, I'll come back to you then. And, you know, I asked Vicky, who's on my team, and Rob to attend, basically because they're in a selling function inside Carolyn Scholefield. So for the price of a breakfast, what I've got as a business is some very reasonable training, led by a good expert who actually knows what they're talking about, been there, got the t-shirt. So those skills workshops are very practically based, versus our Ask the Expert meetings, which are more about telling you what you need to do. Some participation, but actually a larger forum. So anything between 15 and 20 people at those sorts of meetings, we'd be very happy with. Monthly networking meetings are free for all. The April one, we had 32 people attend, which was amazing. We could hardly move in Idlewild. And then unfortunately Idlewild decided that our pop-ups were ugly and we couldn't put them up. We are now reviewing whether we actually want to go to Idlewild anymore. But I've yet to have the actual discussion with Mark, the owner. It was his partner who decided that he didn't like our wonderful pop-ups. So that's fine. And then Stephen runs Professional Service Action Learning Group. And that is a facilitated forum for people to bring business problems. So, for example, Vicky, part of my team, is new in a selling role, and she brought her particular problem to that group. Came away with 4 flip charts full of paper and ideas. So, you know, this is us using our expertise and sharing it. So, fabulous opportunity. Operates every 2 months, doesn't it?
Yes, next one's 6th of May.
Next Tuesday? Yeah. So the concept is you come with an issue that you want to explore around your business. And then the members' meetings, which we've talked about, where you can showcase your business. Okay. And some up-and-coming events on the calendar. Carry on. The business planning one is a novel program to help members plan their businesses, now in its 3rd iteration. We had part 1 fairly recently, part 2 is in June. And here Renee Molinar, one of our ex-members of our committee, but still an active member, actually helps people draw up a business plan. So if you don't know what a business plan is, this is a low-risk way of learning. We run them every year, and it's been a very successful program. So you come in with your idea or your existing business, and you learn how to theoretically structure a business plan. Not to impress a bank manager, but for you to actually think about how you want to run your business. Carrying on. Grow has also been about the internship scheme, now languishing at the moment. Carry on. We had interns 1 and 2. 3 and 4, they were so fast, they only lasted 5 weeks and they were out into a job. And then 5 and 6, Emily with her turquoise hair and Joe with the ponytail. Emily wanted to be a florist, got told by 2 of our florist members that she ought to go back to college. She actually listened to them and is now in Plumpton. And Joe fancied starting up his own computer business, and so he's still doing that, going around to help older people cope with technology on a one-to-one basis. But at the moment, the only interest that we've got for an intern is coming from France. Either Sussex has no youngsters who are unemployed, or Sussex makes its youngsters too comfortable at home. I don't know. But we have a French intern and we have 4 placements for her to go to. And we're just finalising the details on that. New events. So we're participating at the Burgess Hill Business Association exhibition. On the 3rd of June, Mid-Sussex District Council and HHDBA are doing business, so I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we come to it. We've got the longest golf day, we've got Attack and Pimps, and we have Town Day that we're participating in. Longest golf day, who knows anything about it in this room? Neil was hoping to wax lyrical. Neil and Rod came up with this idea, but the whole concept is to have a fun day for golfers, non-golfers, teams of 3, teeing off, 10 minutes or so, a new team will start. Open to men and ladies, handicaps, relaxed-ish. Ladies were given 3 extra shots. I know some ace ladies golfers, I'm going to try and rustle them up. That should be a good game. What else? For the non-golfers, introduction to the game, so you can hit a golf ball on the range. Apparently the pros are very nice. And there'll be a dinner. So if you're not golfing, you'll need to pay for your evening meal. And if you are golfing, it's included in the price. And it's all up on the website with one of the innovations this year, which is Eventbrite. Sue's very happy having Eventbrite. Made your life a lot easier.
Certainly has.
Okay. Out of curiosity, how many of you are actually happy using Eventbrite? Cool. So that's making it a lot easier to go with things. And then Petank and Pims. This is Kareem and Pete Kogel idea.
Well, it's rather fun. There is a petanque, or boule if you want to call it that, piste, I think they call it, the court, up at Beechhurst. And we went there a couple of Sundays ago and met with some very enthusiastic ladies who were keen to keep a hold of us, especially Kareem. He was a winner. And we had a great time playing. We had no idea what to do. You don't need any expertise, you don't need any muscles or any of that variety. Just go along. And we thought Petanque and Pims sounds quite nice, so of course we'll be well lubricated. It's going to be, I think, at 6 o'clock in the evening on a very sunny day, we hope. And if not, well, Beechhurst has a bar anyway, so we'll sort ourselves out and we'll have a wonderful time.
Okay. So think about that. The other thing is some alliances with Chichester University, Mid-Sussex District Council and our Charity of the Year. So swiftly, Chichester University, there is a flyer in your bag. Unfortunately, the representative from the University of Chichester has got a really bad throat, so can't talk. But basically, they're offering us a graduate scheme, or also you can send your employees to Chichester on a graduate program. So please have a look at the brochure, and if you're interested, do contact Adam.
Maureen, they can also talk to me as it's
Please,
where
of
I am
course.
for the next year.
How did I forget about that? Why didn't he know you?
Well, he knew I was coming, but he could have said, but
Sorry about that. Do you want to say anything more, Paul?
no, it's all there on the slide,
Fabulous.
but for greater detail.
Greater detail. Good. With Sussex District Council, some of you may or may not know that a new guy called Gordon Ray has been appointed as Business Liaison Officer. He's got a 3-day-a-week, 1-year contract. And the whole idea of his role is to do 2 things. One is business liaison, and all of those bullet points cover what he's set to do. And then the second thing that he's set to do, Rob, if you'd like to go, is wellness, well-being, support and development. And these are all free services that the Mid-Sussex District Council offers. So he came to see our wonderful database, and Rob was taking it through taking our database through with him. And while he was talking to Rob, I suddenly thought, well, he, on a 3-day-a-week contract, to find the 4,000 businesses that he's going to do, he's going to have to think quite creatively about how to get to them. So we've agreed to have this 3rd of June day at the golf club, where we're going to be, he will fully do his tap dancing bit. We will tap dance with him, saying this is what HHDBA does, and so businesses will be invited to come along. So that will be on the 3rd of June. You as HHDBA members will be delighted to see you there as well. That's an event that we will be running. And my thought there is that if we can recruit some larger businesses to our fold, that will help our coffers even further. It will help us to actually pay a little bit more for the interns as well. Our French intern will be paid. The organisations hosting her have agreed a monthly sum, which is nominal. So that would be interesting. And then finally, without further ado, our charity of the year. Now this came about because we lost a charitable thing to do, and I posed to the committee that perhaps we ought to consider St Peter and St James. They were the first charity that the bike ride actually supported. I have a strong personal connection with them because I believe they're absolutely fabulous. They were to me. And it's just a really good place, and they're doing some really fabulous work at the moment. So without further ado,
first of all, thank you to Maureen for inviting us to come along and talk a little bit about St Peter and St James's Hospice. I'm sure a lot of you know a little bit about us. We've put out what our mission statement is and also our vision. We'll support you and those important to you to live well towards the end of life by giving compassion, hope and quality care. We want to make a positive difference to the experience of everybody in our community who faces death or bereavement by offering choice and support throughout our expert care, knowledge and understanding. Really, the whole ethos behind the hospital is we're supporting local people. We're a local charity, and we have about 200 patients on our books at any one time. And our aim really is to make their journey peaceful, painless, and help people to live their lives to the full, for the best way they possibly can. And on to the next slide. We have various services. It's not just the building itself, and we can help people in so many different ways. And it's not only the patients themselves, but it's also their families. I've already mentioned that we help about 200 patients at any one time with respite and end-of-life care. But in any one year, there's about 600 patients on our books, and also their families as well. We have day patient facilities. It might be something straightforward as changing a dressing, offering therapy, respite care. We also have community-based nurses supporting patients in their own homes, working with local service providers. And we also provide bereavement and counselling support. We look after the whole family. We have special bereavement groups run by volunteers who meet up and help each other, giving a lot of support. The shocking statistics, only 14% of our funds come from the NHS. We need to raise a staggering £2.6 million per year, which equates to £7,200 a day. It's a huge amount of money. The service we can offer is invaluable. You can't put a price on that. And as I say, it's something that we've had a lot of support in the community to help us do that. Recently, we received a grant from NHS England to help us transform our old day hospice to meet the needs of the 21st century. Our old day hospice was well used, but we needed something larger. So with this grant, our idea is to completely transform the day hospice, extend it. We'll have 1,500 more visits each year. There'll be new space for medical consultation, counselling, arts and crafts works, or privacy for patients. There'll be a wide range of services in one place for patients to come, maybe for a conversation with their families or whatever. We had a grant. Unfortunately, the grant that we received from NHS England was 100,000 short. So always, we launched an appeal, and to date, we've raised 63,000 of that grant. So we're getting near, but we still need some more. So when I was talking to Maureen about it, and she was saying you'll be able to support us in some way, absolutely fantastic. We need your help in any way that you can help us to achieve this new wellbeing centre, which says benefit for the whole community. And really, that's just about all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for your support. I know there's some raffle tickets going around. If anyone wants raffle tickets, we'd be delighted with them. There's nice bottles of bubbly as a prize. We're very much looking forward to working with you in October when we host one of the events meetings there. We'll hopefully have the opportunity to show you a little bit more around the new centre, which should be open by then, and you'll see why it's such an important part of the hospice. Thank you very much for listening to me.